Sonia Sotomayor is on the hot seat in the Senate right now, and my next guest says that is where all the president's czars should be, too. He just introduced a bill to cut off all of their funding unless they are confirmed by the Senate first. With us now, Republican Congressman Jack Kingston of Georgia. So many czars, so little time. Congressman, how can you make this stick?
Well, I think what we want to do is raise this issue because what's happening is the president has appointed, we think, 34 czars. There's a lot of people he's thrown out as czars, but 34 czars and not one has gone through the U.S. Senate confirmation process, which is required by the Constitution, Section 2, Article 2. And as you just said, when you have a nominee by the president, they go through what Sonia Sotomayor is doing. It's a healthy process because you find out, well, what is your background on these policies and what kind of decisions will you be making for the American people?
Well, we found out in the case of the auto czar, at least the last one, that his only view and knowledge of cars was from the back seat of a limo, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm wondering about is...
a little pension plan.
Well, you need Democrats to go along with you on this, and you know, you're vastly outnumbered. Do you have any who are sympathetic to this?
Well, you know, it's interesting. When I raised this in the form of an amendment in the Appropriations Committee, the Democrats' initial reaction was, okay, here's Kingston and the Republicans up to no good again, we're just going to vote no. But as I spoke, and I said, you know, this should disturb you, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, that the president is acting outside of the authority of the Constitution by appointing all these people, but we're the ones who control budgets. And doesn't it bother you that you have an energy czar out there along with a Secretary of Energy, both making energy policy, but you control the budget of one and you don't control the budget of the other. We need to know what they're up to, how they're spending money, and what kind of they're having on our policy. So I think that Democrats will come aboard. I think it'll be reluctantly, but what I also predict is that the president will probably slow down on the appointment of czars, and already he's kind of done an about-face on the automobile czar, as he's found he can't find the whiz kid that will turn around Detroit instantly overnight, but you know, he's now backing off on that, and I think that's a good thing. And sometimes legislation is used to drive a point as well as much as it is to pass a change in the law.
I would bet you that there are a lot of cabinet secretaries who feel as you do, but they just can't say it because you've got some other person running around ostensibly doing their job, and they have the direct ear of the president. So much more cachet with the big guy than they do as sitting cabinet secretaries.
Well, they do. You have an energy czar who can go around the cabinet secretary. You have somebody in charge of the Guantanamo closure czar, and he can go around the Secretary of Defense. You have the stimulus accountability czar who can leapfrog over all the cabinet members.
But who came up with czar? But Congressman, who came up with czar? Because it didn't really work out that well for the last official czar. So who came up with that? I could see what car czar because it rhymed. Well, but all the other ones just sort of fell to me on deaf ears.
I think that the president just likes the term. I don't know. As you know, Tsarist Russia had 18 czars over a 300-year period of time, and maybe that's the model for this administration. I don't really know, but they like calling people czars. But what our concern is the accountability, the non-vetting of these people. I'll give you an example. The stimulus accountability czar spent $18 million updating their web page. That's spending out of control, and that's something. Why is it necessary for them to have a web page for an $18 million price tag? We need to know about this.
It's a hell of a web page. Congressman, thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you.